Hello, I'm Julie Moore. Welcome to Chair Yoga. This video is an experience to make you feel like you're right here in one of my classes. All you need to participate is an armless chair, like the kind that comes with a card table. If you're going to do the class on a hard surface like tile or wood, please also use a yoga mat. It's important that you always keep all 4 legs of the chair on the mat. If you will be on carpet, all you need is the chair. Some optional items you may want to use are a second chair, an additional yoga mat, a 4-inch yoga block, and a blanket. However, those props are not required. This video is split into 3 sections. We start with grounding. You will begin by transitioning into yoga by finding the best way to sit and hold a posture, along with how to connect to your breathing. Once we warm up, we will move into a sequence of seated and standing postures. This is called active stretching. And finally, we transition out of yoga with restful meditation called balancing and quieting. My promise in every yoga class I teach is to invite a deep inner experience. The practice of yoga is transformative, and that is just as true for chair yoga. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me for chair yoga today. Let's begin as we typically do by grabbing our blocks that you have nearby. It's the prop that is really helpful to help us get in a position of good alignment. Come forward on your chair so that you feel flat-footed. You feel like your feet are grounded to the earth, grounded to your yoga mat. And the block between your thighs will help you keep your legs in good alignment. Always, just in case we need to be reminded, we're trying to keep our hip points and our knees in a line, in a straight line. So this is a good way to just find that alignment location, and also to measure the kind of engagement of your inner thigh muscles that you're trying to find as we begin. So this is just enough engagement of the legs to hold that block there. That's all. You don't have to squeeze it. You don't have to kill it. All you want to do is hold it there in a gentle way. So we use this as our transition now. Once we find a good place of alignment, I want you to lift up with your chest bone, lift up and lengthen your spine. Position your head well so you feel like you can't hardly feel your neck. You've got your head right balanced there in your shoulder area. Perfect. And then I'm going to invite you to turn your palms up on your lap and close your eyes. A couple pointers that I want to remind you of about our yoga practice today is that your best indicator of where, if you're working within the range that is comfortable and right for you, for your body on this very day, is your breath. When your breath is easy, free-flowing, then that's a really good indication that your body is good with it. You're working within that range. When it's choppy and difficult, then it's not so much. That's a good indicator that your body is giving you the word. You should back off or make an adjustment. So the breath is your wise teacher today. We begin with eyes closed so that we can really focus on our inner experience. We come from a busy day. We come from what I always call this horizontal experience of our life. It's big, it's wide, it's open, it's got a lot of stimulation. We've got to respond to a lot of different people, places, and things. And yoga invites us in. We come in through the door, into the yoga studio, sit on down in our chair, and we've narrowed that field. Not so much interference anymore, but an opportunity to come in within you, more of a vertical dimension. More of a vertical experience of being here and now. Be sure you engage your belly. You want abdominal strength to hold you in this upright position. We're not using the back of the chair to help us sit up nice and tall as we are. We are instead focusing on our core strength. So the best way to access your core is to pull the abdominals in. Use your navel as a guide. You're going right there and pulling back in towards your spine. Not so much that it feels like gripping or cramping, but so it feels toned. You feel like you have toned your abdominals. And I'll often refer to that as your belly. Palms up is our embodiment of ready and willing to participate in yoga and ready and willing to receive its blessings. Take a moment now to see what your particular intention is for this class. What do you need from yoga today? Setting an intention is a very mindful way to practice yoga, and it's a mindful way to live your life. So see what rises up for you this day, what it is you need. Let me offer this as well. Sometimes people also use yoga as almost a prayerful act, and they dedicate their practice to someone or something or some cause. That might be an option for you today as well. Dedication of yoga. Our transition includes kind of a three-step process. We start by grounding ourselves as we have done, finding our right spot on the chair seat so we feel like our bottom is fully supported. We can feel the boniness of our bottom, the sits bones in yoga language. We can feel that connection. That's a sense of grounding, as well as your feet to the floor. So really notice how your feet make connection to, let's call it the earth. That's a sense of grounding, coming into the experience of your body. And then secondly, I want you to bring your awareness into your mouth. Yeah, just soften that so there's no tension in your jaw and there's no tension in your tongue. Sometimes it feels like you're just going to keep your lips together gently and you'll create like a bubble in your mouth. There's space in there because your teeth don't come together. That's a good way to soften all the muscles of the face, into the neck, into the chest, even the shoulders benefit from that practice. Softening there. And finally, we come into this full awareness of our breathing. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing all the way in, and breathing all the way out. And I want us to commit to that kind of a breathing pattern. I'll remind you all the time. All the way in, all the way out. Sometimes you'll choose to breathe out through your mouth. Sometimes you'll breathe in through your mouth. That's okay. Breathe in a way that feels natural and supportive of what you're doing, but stay committed to your awareness to it. So always lifting and lengthening the spine, feeling that sense of grounding, and then of course that breath awareness. Got a poem to help us get started. Being Present. Beautiful poems from the heart of yoga. The book is entitled Go In and End by Dana Falds. Excellent, excellent book. Breathe, relax, and feel. Take time to slow down the pace of life. Watch the rise and fall of moods, the birth and death of dreams. Feelings and sensations seem so real, yet they shift like changing clouds and flow with the high tide out to sea again. Allow it all to be. No need to grasp or push away. Present with each moment, the whole of you, body, mind, and soul, opens to receive. Let's take one more full breath in. See if you can get a sense of the count of your inhale. Count it out. Just figure out how long is that inhale. And then match up your exhale to be at least that long, if not longer. So take a few breaths like that to just determine a good rhythm for you. What's a full breath in? What's the number? the full breath out at least that long, if not longer. That's it. And then let's flutter our eyes open, get used to the light once again. And we'll begin some movement. Let's start with shoulder rolls. We're going to keep that block there for a while. Just keep training those inner thigh muscles to stay put. And try to draw your upper arms close to the side body as you do a very exaggerated movement, pulling up, back, and down with your shoulders. Try to get some movement in the shoulder blades. That's what we're shooting for. We want to find some fluid movement, whereas most of the time that's kind of sticky. They're sort of stuck back there in a sort of forward roll. We're trying to pull them back and down. So it feels exaggerated, you're doing it just right. Now just scrunch up. Scrunch your shoulders up into your neck and squeeze everything you could think of to squeeze. Just squeeze and hold. And then release that all the way down and notice that relaxation. Let's go the other way with our shoulder rolls now. However you started, let's try it the other way. See if you can remember what that would be. Just rolling the shoulders now in the opposite direction. Don't forget your engagement of abdominals, so keep your belly engaged. It's always going to help. And again, we're going to scrunch up. Just pull in, scrunch everything you can think of, really pull it in. Arms are tight. Release it down. Let's take a breath in through the nose. Exhale out. In through the nose. Perfect. Let's extend the arms at shoulder height. So we're reaching out. Reach through the fingertips. Check to see if your arms are in alignment with your shoulder socket. I'll keep an eye on it for you too. Good. Reach through the fingertips so you feel your arms getting longer and stronger. Pull the belly in for sure. You want your chest cavity to balance right over your hips. Yep. Let's make a soft fist and then just start turning the hands around, changing direction often, because we want to juice up those wrist joints as well. Finding that same fluid movement in the wrist that we just found in our shoulder blades. So yeah, just change the direction. Be willing to kind of keep up those arms because it's amazing how heavy they become. And then open your palms wide, fingers spread apart, push through the butt of your hands, lift your fingertips up. Breathe. Now you're going to feel a lot of sensation in your wrist area, in your forearms. Pull the belly in, lift your chest, find the full breath in, full breath out. Great, let's turn palms up now. Glue your fingers together. This yoga pose is called mitten hands, that's what we call it. Bringing your fingers together, thumbs sticking out, that's what I'm looking for. You're just going to extend open, and we'll use this a lot. So what's mitten hands look like? It looks like that. Good, let's lift all the way up now. We're coming into a seated back bend. You lift up your arms, lift up your chest, press into your feet so you have more of a sense of foundation, something to push off of. Pull your thumbs back and you come into this upper thoracic back bend. You feel a whole lot of space in your upper body. You're stretching your diaphragm, so your lung capacity has changed, and that's going to feel different when you breathe. Find it again though. Go back to the breath. Don't keep it here in the chest. Go back into a deep sense of breathing all the way down, all the way up. Soft mouth. Perfect. Let's bring the arms down alongside our body. Now this is what we're going to call our mountain pose, just our stable kind of base pose to come to in the chair. Pull the belly in, widen your shoulders, make sure your head is well positioned. Perfect. I'm going to mirror you, so although I might say, stick out your right arm and I move my left, I'm trying to mirror what's going on for you. So let's extend. I'm going to say reach out with your right arm. Turn to look at that, and as you do, you're pulling your left shoulder back so it stays in alignment with the other. Sometimes when we extend a limb, it starts to turn our body in to move the way it moved. We don't want to. We want to pin that shoulder back, So we've got our shoulders in a plumb line. Let's turn the palm up. Our mitten hand is palm up now. Lift it up. Keep staring at your palm. Look up with it. Reach for the ceiling. And at the same time, imagine you've got like a sandbag tied to the wrist of your left hand, and it's pulling you down toward the floor on that side. So you're feeling that side pull down, and you're lifting up and breathing. You don't need to look up, so if your neck is not okay with that, just go neutral. You could look straight ahead, that works. Let's all come to a neutral position. You're looking straight ahead to the front of the room. Use your ear as your guide now as you go over your head for a side bend. Feel gravity pull you into that. Now don't let your butt cheek lift up, it wants to. So stay down. That'd be your right side. You want to stay down with that butt cheek on the chair. But let gravity pull you into this side fold. Use a big backstroke to come up. So it's a big sweeping motion. We're back to our mountain pose. Catch up with your breath. Come back into a real strong posture. Let's go to the other side now. Extending out, and we turn palm up, and we look at it, and we pin that right shoulder back so we have a plumb line with our shoulders. Catch up with your breath now, a nice good rhythm. And then lift up and look up. So tie that sandbag, it's imaginary, but it really works, onto your right wrist. Let it pull your arm down. And then you lift up with all your might to the ceiling with your other arm. You got it. Breathing in and breathing out, lifting up, creating space. Let's bring our gaze back to a neutral position. Use your ear as your guide. We're doing it again on this side now. Let gravity pull you. Keep your butt cheek down. And use a big sweeping motion to come out of that, back into a neutral position. Let's start moving the pelvis now. We want to get fluid there as well. Let's start with just a tuck and a tilt. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm talking about. I want you to just start tucking your tailbone in so your low back rounds. And then you lift that tail up so you feel it moving your pelvis, tucking and tilting. So pull it under, take some belly toning to do that, and then release the tone of the belly so it can free you up to lift your tailbone up. So it's just trying to isolate the movement in your pelvis alone. Just a tuck, roundness of the low back, and a tilt. Another way to look at that is when you're tucking, you are flexing, and when you are tilting, you are extending. Beautiful. So just movement of the pelvis, isolating the movement. You got it. Let's come back to our mountain. We're going to kind of up our ante on that tuck and tilt pose. I want you to start drawing your arms back behind you and create that a big back bend. Chest is coming forward. You're going to feel an arch of your back. That's a big tilt. This is a full extension of your spine. Great for your back muscles. Find a rhythm of breath. Chest is forward, real arch at the back. Yep. And then hands come to the lap, start that tuck. Dropping your chin to your chest, feel a roundness of your back body like a C-shaped curve. Yeah, this is like doing that cat pose that is done on the mat. So it's a roundness, it's a flexion of all of the musculature, a flexion of all the spinal column, basically. This should feel like a resting pose. You got it. We're going to do that in vinyasa style, so lift up your chest. Take a big breath in and come into your full extension. Chest is forward, tilting the pelvis into your extension. And then tucking as you drop your chin to your chest and you round your back body. Pull the belly way in and keep flowing with that. We don't need to be in sync with each other. What you need to do is be in sync with your own breathing. So you're finding a kind of rhythm within you. Exaggerate. So you're really trying to get as much bang for your buck here. You want to really go for it. Remember, you've got the option to breathe any way that feels good for you. So if you're kind of pushing your breath out through your mouth, That's a good way to breathe. Great. And coming back to a neutral position. Let's do some shoulder rolls here. Pull up, back, and down. And change the direction of that. And come back to a neutral position. I want you to bring your hands now to your shoulders so you've got your elbows up and elevated at shoulder height. Start doing some movement side to side. Your arms are really carrying you. You're flip-flopping your arms around so that you can feel the stretch in all of the torso. It's opening up your fascial layer. It's starting to move the skin around. And you're doing it with the power of your arm strength. You're just letting yourself go side to side. Now the thing is, it takes several repetitions for this to work effectively. So keep at it. Keep your elbows elevated, keep flip-flopping around, and turn your head only as it feels natural to you. You don't need to look with each turn. You could keep it fairly neutral. So just determine what seems to feel natural for you, what feels all right. Knowing that you're just creating more space in the body, loosening up the fascial layer of your torso. And at the same time, you've created a stability of the lower body that just can't be, shaken. You've got it nice and strong. Perfect. Let's come back to our neutral position and make some circles with those elbows. That's fine, just leave it on the floor. When they start slipping, it's probably telling us enough of this blocks. Let's change the direction. And coming right back up to our seated back bend, lift up, look up, pull the thumbs back. Full breath in and full breath out. We're coming right back now as we come into our full extension. Arms slide alongside the chair and we bring our chest forward into that real arch of the back body. And dropping your chin to your chest, you're coming into that C-shaped curve, the flexion of the back body. Let's come back up and just rest our hands on our lap now. I want you to drop your chin to your chest and start to make a circle with your head. Use your chin to point the way. Nice and slow, easy as she goes. Paying attention to how that feels so you can ease your way, maybe slow it way down in any particular area of your neck. Know that when you get your shoulder blades together, you're pulling back, sitting up tall, in other words, it helps this motion. It helps you. The back of your neck will be freer to move. You'll feel it better. Change the direction if you haven't done that yet. Let's circle the other way. And then let's try this. The next time your chin lifts up to be looking up at the ceiling, really pull the shoulders back. Lift your chin up like crazy. See if you are able to allow your head to drop back. It's going to feel like you're stretching your throat because that's what we're doing. You're lifting your chin, you're drawing your shoulders back, you're letting the weight of your head pull back, and you're going to feel a length and a strength from the underside of your chin all through the throat down into the chest bone. Perfect. Now breathe. And remember, your breath is your best indicator of whether this is okay or not. If your breath is choppy, it might be suggesting to you, I need an adjustment here. Awesome. Let's come slowly back to a neutral position. And let's go ahead and lose the block, put it underneath our chair. And be prepared now to do some more active stretching. Okay, let's bring our hands back to our shoulders and do our side-to-side movement. Can't do enough of these. This really helps. Try to keep your bottom flush to the chair seat so you don't feel too much rock and rolling going on there. Just getting the flip-flop of the arms to help stretch and open your upper body. We're going to transcend though. We're going to move right on into a full stretch, a full twist. So as you do, and the next time you turn to your right, just pause there with that right, yep, and then extend your right arm back behind you. Look back there if you can. push back, reach through your mitten hand, palm should be facing the side wall, you got it. And now extend your left arm out to the front of the room toward me. So finding that full twist. See if you can do this with very little scissor of your knees. You know, they want to start adjusting. See if you can keep that stable, yeah, as you twist. Very good. Reaching back, trying to get this movement in the upper body. That's what facilitates it. Isolating it in the torso, a waistline twist, if you will. Breathe all the way in and all the way out. Nice. And then come out of it with both arms reaching up. Yep. Reach up, look up. Smooth out your breath. And back to a neutral position. Hands come back here on the shoulders. We do a few more of these movements. And then the next time you turn to look towards your left, you turn as much as you can. Check with your legs that they didn't get scissored. You know what I mean? We want the kneecaps to be in a plumb line. And then reach back with your left arm. Reach back and extend forward with your right. Mitten hands are reaching. Palms facing away from you. Breathing. Now soft mouth. Full breath in, full breath out. Definitely give yourself that exhale. Do it again. Inhale, all the way out. As we come out of it, we're going to lift both arms up. Lift up, look up. And come right into our tuck and tilt. So as you bring your arms alongside your body, you're into that full extension of the spine. And then as you round your back body, let's just kind of let our arms float in front of us so we can get a little more of a stretch of the upper back. Flowing with that. This is called vinyasa, when you start moving and breathing in a connected way. Perfect. And back to our neutral position. Good. Let's move into the hips now. I want you to cross your right leg over your left. See if you can push your ankle bone past your thigh. Kind of start with that. If that's not comfortable, you can adjust it. There's no reason to not place it on there. It's just that to me it's uncomfortable, but you might find it not so, that's not an issue and you prefer it. So start there, see what you can do. We're going to start by sort of massaging this leg. I want you to start easing your nervous system. Our nervous system is what kicks in that says resistance. And this way we touch, we massage, we're going to help that along by giving it some tender, loving care here. It's called a figure 4. You can somewhat see how that is. That's what we're creating for this hip opener. Great. Then sit back up so you feel balanced, right to left, front to back. See if you can drape your hands across your shin, and then just see what you might be able to do to keep your spine long and a forward movement of your chest bone coming. And so your hands, I've seen people, I can't demonstrate it, come all the way down, keeping their spine nice and long. Fingertips touch the floor. It's gorgeous. Remember what your breath is going to inform you of. If you're going too much, this is outside of your comfort level in terms of range of motion. Your breath gets choppy. It's not easy for you to breathe well and easily. So you just know that's an indicator, I'm not going that far. And then you modify. Soften your mouth. And then let's get our hands to our legs, just kind of get there so that we can now begin just sort of a rocking. We're going to come in and out of it. Come back to an upright position, keep the spine long, and rock forward. Something about that as well is a little more calming to the nervous system, a little more available. Seems like it's more accessible, isn't it, when you come rocking through that midline. The next time you rock down, see if you can go low enough that you could scoop up your leg. You're going to get an arm around your knee and you're going to lift up. So as much as you can, you've got sort of a horizontal hold on your calf and shin. Lift up your chest, square your shoulders as best you can. Maybe you need to press into the foot on the floor. That's our standing leg. So if I use that terminology, that foot on the floor is our source of grounding, keeps us stable. It's called Cradle the Baby. So lift up the chest and breathe. And when we come out of Cradle the Baby, we're going to simply release that leg so the foot comes back down toward the floor, but we're going to get our interlaced hands. Our interlaced hands are right under the thigh, and we're going to release the weight of that leg into our arms. So I know you can hold your leg up there because of the strength of your leg muscles, but what I want you to do is surrender those leg muscles, let your arms instead. So what we've done is shift into using our biceps now. Let's, while we're doing this, start moving our foot around. So when you do that, it helps your ankle and helps the joints of the feet. So get as much movement as you can. All the while, I hope you're feeling it, you're strengthening these arm muscles because you're using this like the body weight that it provides for us is that weight bearing, that we've heard so much about. We want to do that. Let's stop the movement of the feet now and just pull that thigh up into the belly and the chest. And we're going to go straight out forward, flex the foot like crazy, lift their toes towards you. The kneecap should be up, interlaced hands underneath that thigh, and you're lifting as high as you can. Now, of course, the leg muscles are doing all sorts of work. We've shifted that. Spread your toes apart. Yeah. And then let's slowly drop that foot straight down. You might need to scoot forward on your chair a little bit so that you've got some movement here. Make sure your standing leg is in good place. That means your hip and your kneecap are in the same line. And then let's just briskly rub our palms together. Activates a lot of the nadis. And then we're going to stretch out and lift up. Big inhale here. And exhale right through the midline as you fold forward, stretching your hamstring. As soon as you fold forward, you can release your hands either to touch the floor or grab hold of the lower part of your shin, or maybe you want to grab hold of your foot in some way. But let's go heel down, toes up, and stretch the back of the calf and into the back of the leg. You got it. Now breathe. Sometimes that's just too far. And so know that there's other ways you could support it. Hands on your thighs and leaning into it as best as you're able. That's a good way. It cuts it about in half. Now push firmly into that foot on the floor so you can come back up. Hands on the thighs really helps. And now what we're going to do is rotate. I want you to see if you can rotate that leg out. Might require a slide over in your chair. To the best of your ability now. Get your shoulders back in the plumb line. You know how I told you when you pull a limb across, it seems to make the whole body go in that direction. I want you to be squared away. Plumb line of your shoulders, hip point, this is still there. This may not be a right angle, that is what we're shooting for, but we're trying to get as close to that as our body will allow. Squirm around in the chair all you need to create it. I've learned that sometimes to keep the shoulders in alignment, it helps to sort of bring your hands to the outside of that standing leg. Yeah. What we're going to do now is just drop the foot to the floor. Drop the ball of the foot to the floor, roll it up. So you're doing this little rotation of the femur bone inside of your hip joint. It's externally rotated, and we're rotating the leg right inside of that. Simple, but it's helpful. So just rotating so the toe pads come down, till the ball of the foot comes down, and back you go. Now let's press and hold. Lift up your chest. Feel that stretch. And then lift the toes up. Let's lift the opposite arm up. Use your ear as your guide. Over your ear you go. But do not press your hand onto your knee. Anything else is fair game. Holding onto the chair that's between your leg, pressing your elbow into your forearm into your thigh, that works. You're just trying to let gravity pull you over into this lateral stretch. Catch up with your breathing, and then use a big strong arm to lift you up and out of that. We're going to come back to our mountain pose, coming back to right alignment. Catch up with your breathing. Good. Let's try the other side now. So we're going to cross this leg over. This is always my reminder when we come to this leg that to say they're not always the same. One hip and the other are very different. And one side of your body is probably very different. You'll run into it pose after pose that you try. So trying to be compassionate about what you encounter. Come in with a a beginner's mind, if you will, to say, what's going on here? And then let's do that same sort of massaging and encouraging that leg to calm down so that it's going to be more receptive to the stretch. Position your standing leg well, be mindful of that. Make sure your bottom is supported on the chair. We've been wiggling around, so just tend to those sort of things so you feel secure. Great. And then lift up the chest, drape your hands across your shin, and the way to strengthen this pose, or I should say deepen it, would be to bring your chest forward right through that midline. Keep the spine long. So tempting to round your back and just sort of huddle over that. That doesn't help. Keep the spine long, tilt into it to the place where you can't go any further, and breathe. It's interesting, the weight of your arms coming across your leg, it deepens it. So if you're looking for an adjustment, you could soften that by bringing your elbows into your body. That's not quite so much body weight coming forward. So there's ways that we can modify. Check in with your mouth, make sure it didn't get tight. You want a soft tongue and a soft jaw. Get back to your rhythm of breath. Let your wise breath help you to know where you should be in this pose. Good, let's come back up now. Get your hands on your leg. We're going to begin just to rock forward and back, always keeping the spine long. Just another one of our techniques to calm the body, help it see, be more receptive to what's going on, and more compassionate. It's really tempting to stick your chin out here. See if you can kind of neutralize that. Bring it back. Neck and spine in alignment would be a better choice. Next time you're coming forward, we go as low as we can. This is where we go to cradle the baby. We're going to wrap our arm around that knee and lift this foot up and come into your best expression of cradle the baby. It takes different shape for some people, one side or the other, but you're just doing your best to lift that shin up, get the calf up, lengthen your spine. And you know what? A little movement doesn't hurt. In other words, you don't always have to come in and hold. What if you say, well, I'm going to come in and then I'm going to come out. I'm going to do a little movement like we did a minute ago. Not a bad thought. Good. Let's release it now. We're going to release and get our hands underneath our thigh. Remember now, we're turning into an arm strengthener. So you release that heaviness of your leg into your arms. So now your biceps have to do the work. Let's just start moving that foot around. Heavy, heavy leg. The mind-body connection is so fascinating. You say make that leg heavier, you think those thoughts, this is a heavy leg, and man, that's a heavy leg. You could just make it work for you. Good. Let's stop the movement of the foot and hug that thigh up into the chest and belly. Pull it way in. And now we activate those leg muscles. We push straight out. Spread your toes, lift your leg up as high as you're able to. Full extension. Kneecap is up, toes are up. Got a cramp in there, just lift up. Smooth out your breath. Good. We're going to extend it all the way down, a nice straight leg. So this is where we have to kind of make some adjustments. Square yourself away, make sure the seat of the chair is still holding you up properly. Let's rub the palms of our hands briskly, interlace fingers, extend out. Inhale up, exhale, fold all the way through the center. Go as low as you can. Remember, there's ways to modify. Your hands could come to your thighs instead of all the way to the floor or all the way to the shin even. So choose the one that's right for you. And remember, no problem that one side agreed to it and the other side resisted it. That happens. So just pay attention to what you're experiencing right now and take care of that. Spreading your toes activates a whole sling of muscles in your legs, so just to do that for good measure. Then push your hands into your thighs. Let's bring ourselves upright. This is where we externally rotate, so you're going to drag that foot off to the side. It might require you to squirm around in your chair, but this is also where we have to be really careful that we didn't turn our whole body to go with that leg. So let's do this. Let's bring our hands to the outside of that standing leg. It helps square the shoulders. And then just begin the movement of dropping the balls of the foot down and rotating up, so you get this rotation in your femur bone right through that hip socket. And all the while your upper body is up and strong. Good, and pressing down, lifting up. Okay, let's lift the toes up. Lift your opposite arm up. Use your ear as your guide. Over the head you go. Gravity will take it from here. See if you can use, pay attention to a few things. What if you wedged your elbow into that inner thigh? It helps you to rotate better. You can open up your chest a little differently. That's nice. Full breath in. Big out. Full breath in, and on this out breath, let's swing our arm up to get us out of there. Bring that leg back to where we started, back into our mountain pose. We're coming back here, folks. Let's bring our hands to our shoulders and do more flip-flops. Scissoring of the knees is what we're going to try to prevent, because we're going to use this once again to create a twist. So the next time you go right, you pull back towards your right and extend that right arm back behind you. A mitten hand extends back at shoulder height, and you reach your left arm forward toward me in your twist. Lift your chest, extend your arms, and breathe. You know what this is getting is your latissimus dorsi, the lats, the muscles like right under your armpits. That's starting to find some space in there, some juiciness. Big breath in. On the exhale, lift both arms up, reach up. Big breath in. Let's go right for it. And we'll go right into your twist. You got it. It's like a T. Complete that exhale. Big breath in now. Exhale as we come up. We're going to hold it. We're going to come into our seated back bend. And bring arms down alongside the body, and now we're ready to come to standing. So let's bring our hands to our waist. Kind of tuck your feet under you a little bit, so you're going to get a little different distribution of your body's weight. We're going to kind of come up and out of that chair a few times just to strengthen those core muscles. So I want you to be able to lift up using your legs and your core to bring you up out of that chair. We don't want to lose our ability to get ourselves out of a chair, do we? So we're going to practice it. But if you're finding that, you just don't simply have the core strength right now to do it, use a little bit of the chair to push up. Use a little bit of your arms. Maybe you have to lift them up, let your arms swing you up. That's okay. But we're going to get to this place where we can lift our body up and out of that chair on the strength of our core alone. Last time, we're going to stand up and wait. Release now into what we call our standing mountain pose, the more traditional form of mountain pose. Start first with your feet. Check to make sure that your heels line up straight behind your toes, that your feet are parallel to one another. Yeah. You want them about hips distance apart. So again, we're just going to check with our hip points here, there. That gives you a pretty good idea. Pull the belly in, lift the chest. Mitten hands, please. But let's open the mitten hands toward the front of the room. That opens up your chest. We're close enough to the chair, I think, that you feel it. But if you'd like to get closer, that you actually feel it rubbing against your calves, do that. Because it's a way of kind of feeling the security that it offers there as we come into our standing pose. I'm going to invite you now to close your eyes. Close your eyes in our mountain. This changes the balance entirely. So catch up with your breathing. It probably got a little choppy and a little bit scared. So calm that down. Open your eyes anytime you need to. Know that that's always true. Number one, you've got the chair right there. You could sit anytime you need to. And number two, you can always open your eyes. But this and this alone is the best balance technique I have learned. to close your eyes and to rely on your body's experience of balance rather than your spatial awareness. You are left to experience balance from the inside out. So you slow it down. I know that the balance component as we age is more complex than what I might be making it, but I really think this is of value. Slow it down. Realize that your balance is going to take mindfulness now. It didn't used to when you were 22, but now it does. So you just slow down and you're aware of your body's weight, how it is distributed into your legs. You create a strong foundation. You engage your core muscles so your body is in high gear in terms of strength. And you notice where your center of gravity is. I want you to breathe now as though you draw the breath from the soles of your feet up into your shins, into your knees, into your thighs and belly and chest and shoulders and head. And then exhale right down that same midline pathway back to the earth. Breathe like that, all the way in through your body, and exhale all the way back to the earth. Eyes closed. A full body experience of balance, a full body experience of prana. They call this pranayama, the awareness of life energy. See, it's not just a function of your lungs. It benefits every cell of your body. And we take the time to engage in it, to experience it, to realize it. And we feel connected. We feel whole and holy as a result. Breathing all the way in and all the way out. Go back to that count. Figure out what's your inhale length now. Might be a little different from what it was when we checked in earlier. And then exhale at least that long, if not longer. Notice how strong and stable you are. Eyes closed in this space. Beautiful. Walk around and move our chair. We're going to need to use the chair at the very top of the mat. So if you will, pick up your chair and move all four legs to still stay on the mat surface. Okay, good. So we've got our chairs positioned in such a way that we can use it to support an extended forward fold. So start with your palms on the back of that chair. Walk yourself away from it. Feet are going to be in hips distance apart, and you're trying to create an L shape with your body. You want your hips to line up over your knees and your knees over your ankles, and extending your back long and supporting that with just the palms down rather than grasping and clinging to the chair. I want you to just try to set it. I'll tell you why that is. If you're clinging to it, it's encouraging your arms to do a whole bunch of work on this pose that they really don't need to do. I want your legs to do this. So extending the back long, allowing your back of your legs to stretch out into this, the chest sort of drops through that space. This is a legitimate yoga pose. This is extended forward fold. So extend back through your sits bones so you feel the length of your spine pushing back through your back body, through the back of your thighs. And at the same time, through the crown of your head, you're kind of lengthening the crown toward that chair in front of you so you feel it in both directions. Very nice, very nice. Hold it for a full breath in and a full breath out. L shape. Extended forward fold. Good. Let's walk ourselves back up to the chair now. And when you come to the chair, I want you to do some leg swings. Just lift a leg up, bring it down. Just lift a leg up and bring it down. External rotation, lifting up and bringing down. Up and down. And let's try the other side. Just switch. Maybe 4 or 5 on each side. Good. And let's switch back. This time we're going to lift it up and swing it through the midline. It lifts up and you go right through the mid. There you go. Try to hold your body as upright as you can. Sometimes we get a little rock and roll going. See if you can isolate the movement in the swinging leg. Let's switch. Foot to the floor, we'll switch to the other leg. Lift it up, swing it through. Find your breath. Good. And back to center. We're going to go back into our extended forward fold. Palms come down and we stretch it on back into that L-shaped position. Stretch back through the sits bones and let your chest drop through the center. Nicely done. Make sure your mouth didn't get tight. You know, sometimes we start concentrating and then our mouth gets tight. Good. Let's come back up and try a little bit different version of that. Let's see about keeping our hands on that and going wide. Use that lower mat and go wide into a wide angle. How's that going to work? You might even want to have your hands at the seat of the chair. Same kind of thing. You're creating the same kind of stretch through your back. Come on up. Let's kind of heel toe ourselves. Come back to center, little heel toe movement. You got it. Come back upright. All right, let's come into mountain pose. Extend the arms up. We can do a standing back bend as well. So arms lift up. Got your mitten hands on, pull those thumbs back. Squeeze those inner thighs like you have the block between your legs. Breathe and feel the expansion of your chest and all through your rib cage. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, like you're blowing out a candle. One more. Bring your head back to neutral. Let's extend the arms back alongside the body. Good. Last pose is our tree pose, our balancing pose. Let's get the chair position in such a way that we can stand next to it and still have our feet on the mat in some way. So it doesn't matter to me where you land. You want your feet to have mat surface, you want the chairs to have surface. So let's get our left leg near the chair. Our left leg becomes then our standing leg. It's going to be the trunk of the tree, the root of the tree. So let's begin step by step. Shift your weight into the trunk of the tree, root down through that leg. Lift your right heel up off the floor. Rotate your foot so the sole of the foot rests against that inner ankle. You've rotated your knee into an external rotation with that hip. So we don't want the knee forward, we want it instead rotated out. So this is a posture that can begin your tree pose, or you could slide that sole of the foot up into the inner calf area. Those are going to be our two options, either against the inner ankle or against the inner calf. We can use the chair to support us as much or as little as we want. Let's bring our hands together if you're able to let go of the chair, and if not, just continue to hold it with one hand and know that your arms are the branches of your tree and you're going to express that tree in any way you'd like. Finding a focal point with your eyes, focusing on one thing, is a really helpful tool in balancing. Very nicely done, ladies. Just expressing the tree for you. It's like we no longer are trying to imitate a tree. We've become the tree. Come out with as much intention as you came in, back to a neutral position. And then I'm just going to switch my chair over here so I'm ready to go. But we want now the right leg to be near the side of the chair for your support. So you could turn around or you could move the chair, doesn't matter. You know, just turn. But if you want to look at me, then you'd want to move the chair. Yeah. So again, the same step-by-step process. I'm going to suggest we start with our focal point. So find something to stare at that you can really keep your eyes focused there, and then start rooting through your right leg now, shifting your weight into your right leg so the root and the trunk of the tree is near the chair. We're going to lift the left heel up off the floor and rotate so the sole of the foot rests against that inner ankle, or we slide that up so it rests against the inner calf. And then we remember that our arms are the branches of the tree, and we can decide how we're going to express that tree for us. Keep your eyes on your focal point and just feel your way and breathe your way into your tree pose. A strong core is helpful here as it is in every pose we do. Nice. Stay with it as long as you can. And then come out of it with the same mindfulness as you came in and relax back. I want you to just, right where your chair is, just use it to stretch that out. Stretch out and extended forward fold. Beautiful. And when you come back toward the chair, just walk your way up. Know that we're going to be setting up now for final relaxation, or Shavasana. This is where you're going to get your second chair. So I want you to just put one chair down on the mat way toward the back. And then we'll use the second chair to support elevated legs. I'm going to have you put the blanket that's available just at the back of the chair you're going to sit on for now. You may or may not use it. So let's sit in the chair that we're going to use as our seat. And before we get into our final relaxation, we can use this for a child's pose. So position it anywhere that feels comfortable, that as you sit back into the chair, you're going to just try to relax down where your overlapped hands or arms can support your forehead. Yeah, just any way that feels natural. That's it, beautiful. Knees apart, you know, just kind of play with that in terms of how you would like to. So we're starting with that. So just come into your child's pose and collect your thoughts. Come into kind of a body awareness now as you feel the low back stretching and opening. You feel an intimacy of the breath in this pose. That's part of what I really love about it. Your belly is down low into your thighs, and you can feel your breath. It's a resting pose. It is going to help us transition into our meditative time. Let's give it 2 more full breath cycles. And then bring your hands to the chair seat so you can push yourself up. And now we're going to extend our legs onto that front chair. So you might, again, need to tweak it a little bit in terms of where it's positioned. I want your calves to be supported with the cushion of the chair. So don't limit it to just, the lower part of your legs and ankles. Get the calves up there too. The blankets could be used to cover you up. It's often used as a way to feel a better sense of calming, is to have a blanket, or just patting the back of the chair, laying across your legs. Yeah, all great. And this is what I say. Everybody comes back to yoga just so they can get to this phase of our yoga class, our final relaxation. So now I want you to close your eyes and come back into that internal viewpoint, that vertical point of view that we talked about. Take a big breath in through your nose. Exhale out. Do as many of those as you need to help you adjust into this time. And the sound is as important as anything else. There's a clearing that happens. Once you feel like you have given yourself that adjustment, that transition, then quiet it down. Breathe in and breathe out. Bring to mind your dedication or your intention for practice. And allow yourself the grand experience of being within you right now. There's a quieting that happens to the heart rate, the breath deepens. And I always encourage something very, very simple, a mantra to use, so your brain, your mind does not start immediately chattering away about what's after this. Let's stay where we are right here, right now. As you breathe in, just simply say the word in. And as you exhale, say out. So you're breathing in, out. Breathing all the way in and all the way out. Breathing in and out. The mouth is soft and relaxed. You're going to feel a heaviness in your body. It's all good. Before long, you notice that your breath has become deep and slow. So change the word so that your inhale now is deep and your exhale slow. Deep, slow. Deep, slow. When we learn techniques of how to meditate, we're often instructed to pay attention to our breath. And then the next level is to say, who's paying attention to the breath? And they call that the witness. The witness within you is observing yourself breathing. Breathing in, breathing out, deep and slow. Deep and slow. The witness. When I can be the witness, all manner of miracles occur. When I can be the witness, all manner of miracles occur. Old wounds heal. The past reveals itself to be released. Present dramas play themselves out without sinking emotional talons into my soft skin. The witness welcomes truth and dares to meet reality on its own terms. It is the ground in which the seeds of transformation take root and finally flower. When the witness is awake, the lake of mind is still, and in that mirrored surface, I see my own true face as spirit smiling back at me. Yes, when I can be the witness, all manner of miracles occur. Notice now how your breath has brought you to a place of calm and ease. And I invite you finally to change your word as you inhale to calm and as you exhale to ease. Breathe in calm, breathe out ease. Let us begin our transition now. Invite movement back into the body. Take your big breath in through the nose and exhale. We're going to need to get our feet back to the mat and sit up tall. Let's close with a little tender loving care for your neck. So again, I'm going to invite you to drop your chin towards your chest and begin to trace a circle with your head using your chin to point the way. Nice and easy. Pay attention. Pay attention. And change direction when you're ready. Perfect. Let's come back to a neutral position as we bring now our hands together into the Anjali Mudra. Bring your thumbs right into your chest bone, right into the heart center. And we bow to one another and into ourselves as we close our eyes, feeling the connection of palm to palm and feeling our breath in our chest, knowing what a potent source of unlimited love this is, this space, right here, right now. Accessible to you anytime, any day. Unlimited love and compassion is within you. Be the light. Be the bearer of that love and compassion, shall we? All it takes is being here and now and willing. Thanks for joining me. Namaste, my friends.